Nation, don't go to sleep. It's early though, right? All right, so this will be another episode. I got a special guest here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys, as well as some important news that's all around the world. And we're just going to do it just this style right here. All right. So speaking of that, I have Sid over here, man. Tell everybody, man, what's your YouTube page, and let's get this thing
Hey,
going.
man, what's up? It's your boy Sid. My YouTube channel is Dallas Cowboys for Life.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot, Nation, for having me on here. It's a pleasure to be doing this with you finally. We're going to touch on the Dallas Cowboys, as you mentioned, and obviously the news around the world. I'm representing from Montreal, Canada, so a lot is different from the States, so let's just jump right into it.
Yes, indeed. So we got some important news that we got to get out so far. We signed a new player today. His name is Greg Zuerlein. Are you familiar with that? Are you happy about that? Do you like that move?
Listen, the Dallas Cowboys are making a lot of moves right now that I have to admit I'm uncertain with. We lost a lot of key players going into the season.
Right.
And Robert Quinn was for me, that was a big loss. Jason Witten going over to the Raiders. That I'm not saying that's a huge loss, but he was a huge foundation to the Dallas Cowboys. So the Dallas Cowboys right now are making moves for me that, sometimes I'm like, things that make you go, why are they making this move and what is it about? So I'm uncertain with this one. I want to do I'm going to do my research on him and see what he's going to be bringing to the table.
Well, we talking about Jason Witten. I think that he was long in the tooth. I think that, yes, he is one of those pillars of the Dallas Cowboys organization for the previous years there. But I think that it was just time. It was just time for us to move on. Shout out to the Raiders, though. May he have a good career over there. Just not whenever they play the Dallas Cowboys. But I really, really like the new movements as it relates to that front four. Hey, appreciate you, Young Wilson. Thank you for the donation to help grow the nation. My thing is, Sid, is that I think it's a change of philosophy. It's a change of flavor. It's a change of mindset when you look at this collective body of work as it relates to those big boys inside. How do you feel about that, though?
Listen, I think that the Dallas Cowboys are making a lot of moves, like I mentioned before. They're obviously changing their defense scheme across the board.
Mm-hmm.
They're changing their fronts. They're changing their DBs. They're changing their. These are all things that the Dallas Cowboys are doing, and I'm curious to see what certain players are going to be doing on the defense as well as the offense. Our defense has a lot of stepping up to do going into the 2020 season. I think our offense will form itself. I think our offense is what wins us game, but our defense definitely wins us games as well. And they got to turn over the ball and be able to produce just as much as the offensive line is.
Yes, indeed. So when we're talking about producing or production, basically, we did pretty decent, but we messed out and we left out in certain categories. And that was actually, when you look at the collective picture, it was due to turnovers and takeaways. We didn't get those things. So when we bring in a Mike Nolan, when we bring in a Tom Sula, I think that we got some of the core principles still there at hand. But the bigger picture will be, can those guys that they go out there and scout, those guys that they go out there and get, can they get turnovers and takeaways? Shout out to you, Trey. Shout out to you, Derek Thomas, man, on Facebook, man. I really appreciate you all that's there. So that's what I'm looking at, Sid. That's what I'm looking at. Takeaways, turnovers. That's what I'm looking at.
Listen, I think a key player this year, and I talked about him in the regular season last year, and I brought up the fact that we got to be honest. D-Law for me didn't step up last year. He didn't do what we were paying him to do. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a big key producer. I don't find he was productive. Yes, I won't lie. Teams were scared to run in his direction. He's a strong force to be reckoned with. But I don't think that he was as productive as Robert Quinn was. Robert Quinn had 11.5 sacks last season. D-Law had, I think if I remember clearly, 4 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're paying this guy top dollar. So I believe that there's certain players that need to step up. And another player that I'm glad is coming back, because I saw a lot of improvement from him last year, is Sean Lee. Sean Lee is a key player, and I think he has a strong season going into the 2020 season. What I saw from him last year, as long as Van Der Esch comes back 100%, which is another topic, I believe that if those guys step up, that our defense will have those turnovers.
Well, I look at it like this: just like that football you got in your hand. The football itself is known for the football, but it's not the same football without the laces. And what D-Law brought to the table is not just giving you sack production. He brought the laces to the situation, meaning that he stopped the run. If you look at most of the games at the All-22 film, they didn't run on D-Law's side because he knew how to contain. Now, on the flip side, the flash, the glory that everybody loved to see, that is what we call the football, the sacks. That is what my guy, Robert Quinn, the Cobra man, was able to do. He was able to get those sacks, and everybody look at that, but he left holes in the game as it relates to stopping the run. Football is a complete unit. I know that a lot of people look at D-Law's collective production and they will gloss over the fact that he didn't give a lot of sacks or what have you, but I want to remind people that he did stop the run. And what I'm looking at now is that this particular team for 2020, when you go out there and sign a McCoy, dare I say, or when you go out there and sign a Poe and you bring in some of those reinforcements, hopefully we can get a Randy Gregory back. It's time out for that one-on-one action. Not winning your battle, because now those boys should be able to win their one-on-ones. And now you leave DeMarcus Lawrence by himself, and he should be able to eat.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing that fact. And I said that. I said a lot of teams were scared to run on that side.
True.
They knew that D-Law was there, and he's a force to be reckoned with. But I just feel, like I said, and like you're saying, if we have more people stepping up to the plate, it'll open up that game for D-Law to be more productive and go in there and get those sacks. And he's going to have to step up this year and do that, because losing Robert Quinn, and I'm really upset about that loss. And I get that we couldn't pay Robert Quinn what he deserves. He got what he deserves. And I'm surprised that I was surprised that the Dallas Cowboys didn't try and do more to keep him. But it is what it is. We move forward. So I'm hoping that the defensive players that need to step up will do exactly just that.
Most certainly. Also, I'm going to read some of these comments out here. You guys can follow my guy Sid page. Can you tell the nation again where your page is located at and how they can get a hold of you on Twitter and as well as with the YouTube pages?
Yeah, man. If you go on my YouTube, once again, is Dallas Cowboys 4, the number 4 life. All my Twitter information is on there as well. You'll be able to click the link. It'll bring you directly to my Twitter page. And guys, I appreciate the love. And once again, Law, I appreciate for you to have me on your channel. I've been trying to do a lot of collaborations with you. And I'm new to all this, but I will bring big things to my channel this year. I'm going to have jersey giveaways, monthly giveaways, big things to come with the channel, and a lot of collaborations to come with you guys going forward.
Yes, indeed, man. I understand, man, especially when you're new and you're just not starting YouTube. I tell people all the time, man, just start posting. Put your thoughts out there to the universe and the world. Look, we're never right? We most of the time wrong, but it's just that we getting our opinions out there so the world can see what we talking about and how we feel about a certain situation. And then all of a sudden people start following, people start clicking on your videos, and there's nothing special about us. It's just the fact that we are consistent, and that's what happened. And I really appreciate you too, man, for saying those good things about us, man. Those that I guess started a little bit before you. So shout out to Toby that's on the Facebook. He said, I would like to trade for Carl Larson. And also Donald says, bring back Dez Bryant. Gambino says, what's up? So my thing is, trade for Carl Larson. There's a lot of heavy stuff on that. Go with it.
I just I want to touch on this whole Dez Bryant situation. And
Talk to the nation. Yeah.
guys, I'm with you on that. In one of my videos, I talked about this and I said, listen, we can have the Fantastic Four. And to me, my Fantastic Four, Dak, Zeke, Cooper, Dez. Okay. To me, that's my Fantastic Four. I've been watching a lot of videos on Dez, what he's been doing off season. He seems to be working hard. He seems to be running his routes pretty well. Obviously, I've said this in my videos. He's not going to show us the fact that when he doesn't catch the ball, he's not showing when he's not productive. But I think he's matured a lot in the offseason. And I think that he wants to come back to the Dallas Cowboys. He's always, when Jerry Jones spanked him and sent him on his way, I think that hurt him a lot. And he always was out there defending the Cowboys, and he's always made his voice known that he wants to come back. And I believe that Dez coming back to the Dallas Cowboys, he'd be an essential part to the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe that he can help us get to that Super Bowl.
I look at Dez Bryant like this, and I like Dez Bryant. I like his collective mindset. I like that fiery attitude. I like the temperaments that he brings and display out there for everybody to see. And damn it, I missed the throwing up of the axe. You see, we need to see that back out there. Yeah. But there are some reservations, which rightfully we need to have those. It's been 2 years. So in order to get Dez Bryant back out there on the field to see what he can do and exhibit and exude out there, we need to see that during the Oxnard, during the first preseason game, not just at the second preseason game, not just at the third preseason game. I want to see him in all of those fashions. But if he don't give me that work action, then it's sayonara, you see. But it is what it is with this. 43 Flex says, no Gallup in your 4? No Michael Gallup? Huh? How do you do that?
Michael Gallup, to me, he still has developing to do. That's my opinion. He dropped a lot of key passes last year. He did step up sometimes when we needed him, but if you look at his stats, he didn't have I don't find he was as productive as he needed to be. And I said that. I said Gallup, maybe in this offseason, Gallup will improve and get us that productivity that we need from him, and where he won't drop as many balls as he did. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Gallup as well. But he has some developing to do. He's still a young guy, and I think with the right people behind him, he'll be able to get to where we need him to be.
Shout out to you, man, Mr. Wright. Antoine Myers, man, really appreciate you so much for making the donation to help grow the nation. We're going to let the AI speak on that once it goes around. But a lot of people saying that Gallup is a beast. Let this AI speak. Give us a couple seconds. Go ahead.
If Witten had a shot, why not Dez? He offered way more than Witten. Vet minimum, he's worth it at least. Dez still got it, I believe so.
Say again, Sid, what you said? What did you just say?
I said, I'm reading some of the comments that are being thrown. Like, Watch ended up saying Gallup is better than Dez today.
I agree. I agree. But here's the situation.
Okay.
Here's the situation with this, and I agree 100% with Voch Lombardi. My thing is with this, with the Dez situation, we don't know. We just don't know. It's been since 2017 since we saw him out there on the field.
Yeah.
I like Dez Bryant against air. I like Dez Bryant against those high schoolers and those first-time college players running routes against D-Rob always open. But I just don't know. So that's why I'm prefacing my statement, because one thing I do know for sure, Jerry Wayne Jones loved to sell tickets. He loved to sell merch. He loved to sell things. He's a salesman. World. It's Jerry's world. Jerry Jones can tell you right now, Sid, hey, the moon is made of cheese. In order to get there, I got a pair of rockets right now that you can purchase from me. And if you get up there and you realize that it's a rock, hey, the egg is on you. So that's why I'm saying that I would like to see Dez in Oxnard. I would like to see Dez showcased in preseason games, because if not, then it would be sayonara. So give me Michael Gallup though. Gallup is doing his thing out there. I love it.
I like what Mr. Wright said, and he had a key point in his comment. He said, if we can give Jason Witten a chance, why can't we give Dez? And I totally agree with that. We should sign Dez to a 1-year deal, and after 1 year we don't like what we've seen, sayonara.
Sayonara, that's the word.
I totally agree with you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Yeah. And here's the craziest thing about football, right? We talk about chances, we talk about opportunities, we talk about possibilities, but no, football don't play that like that. You know, this is when you snatch the opportunity. This football is when you take the chances, and this football is when you snatch the possibilities by yourself, not relying on certain circumstances, because that's the problem of the Dallas Cowboys of old, you see. They say, oh, we need to bring him in because we paid such and such. Or we need to do this because of this and because of that. No. We line them up, lace them up, and we evaluate the person based off of their individual skill set and how they can dwell and blend together as a one unit, as a team. Yeah. So that's why I like the signing of even Zerline, you see, opposed to we did sign Kyle Forbath. We did sign him, but now it's going to be pure competition. Iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel, you see.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of Forbath, and you know, he stepped up a lot for us last year. And that's what I'm saying. We have a lot of key players that are going to be stepping up this year. And I'm seeing a lot of comments, and guys, I have to disagree. I don't see Gallup being a better player than Dez. If you look at stats, guys, if we're talking stats, Dez has way better stats than Gallup. I'm not saying that Gallup won't get there. I don't think that I do believe that Gallup will become that elite receiver, but he still needs to develop. He still needs, he needs to be tuned up and shined, to go out there and do what we need him to do. I don't think that he was productive last year. He dropped a lot of key passes last year to a lot of key games that we needed to get that W. And it wasn't all his fault. We had a lot of issues last year, and I could go into it. There was coaching issues. There was offensive issues. There was defensive issues. Everybody was blaming Jason Garrett. And that's something that I end up saying in my videos. Guys, the team has to take responsibility as well. And it was disgusting across the board on certain games last year.
Let the AI speak for a second.
We have to understand Cooper do say ouch. Who would you want to replace that for a few games or plays?
All right, so appreciate Mr. Wright, Antoine Myers. He said Cooper does say ouch. He's speaking in terms of injuries or what have you, and who we would like to replace. I can say this right now. There's pretty much two folds of a free agency, and as well as when you interject the draft in play. Sid, did you know that there's a first wave of the free agency, and we're going through that, and we're living through that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then there's the draft. The draft. This particular 2020 draft, I got my guy, my brother from another mother, no other. Don't look like Danny Glover, Voch Lombardi, who keeps the party. Got the best hands down film session, film breakdowns. You name it and claim it. He got it. He can tell you straight from his mental mind that this particular draft, wide receiver class, is loaded. You see, so. The only way I see Desmond Bryant on this particular team again, if the Dallas Cowboys, dare I say, do not find their weapon in this particular draft. I'm going to tell you right now, I think that this team will find a way to get a wide receiver. And the 9 times out of 10, if they don't, then we will see a Dez Bryant, and that will be the person that can sub in for Amari Cooper. That's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. But appreciate you, Mr. Antoine. I mean, hey, it is what it is at this time. but go ahead with your thoughts on it.
I totally agree with you on the whole. Dez is not going to be a starter. He won't be on the field often. He's going to be one of those relievers, and I get it. But I with them letting Cobb go, that's what I thought, that Dez Bryant would come in and be a filler, as you said, if we don't go out there and get that weapon in the draft. Now, there's a lot of free agents out there, guys. We got to keep that in mind. So after the draft, there's still going to be a lot of moves that are going to happen across the NFL.
Plenty. Plenty of moves, and it's going to be a lot of moves, regardless of how we look at it. And I've seen some people saying Clowney. My thing is, Clowney will be one of those guys that you can target after the draft. Because we might get the kid from LSU, Levon, or we may get somebody else that can be higher on our particular board that we might want to give a try. Willikis from I think Michigan. So there's so many people that we can get to bring in to supplement this defense, because we still have, dare I say, a Tyrone Crawford. We still have the likes of a Randy Gregory that we still have to take a real good look at. And I think that Clowney right now, asking for what, 20 mil, and he had, if you're talking about sacks, and a lot of people was talking about D-Law's production, this brother had 3. And of course, he stopped the run too. So how can we make the justification of paying this brother 20 mil? I would look at it like this. After the draft, his stock value will plummet, because, people are going to look at it like, we'll sign you for a 1-year deal for 12 mil or 13. And I don't think he would turn that down, because he would be embarrassed at this point.
A lot of these free agents after the draft will not be getting those big contracts. And like you just said, their value is going to plummet, and a lot of teams are just going to sign some of these guys to a 1-year deal.
Right.
To get that productivity in the lineup to be able to go forward and get that W going into the 2020 season.
Yes,
now,
indeed.
You brought up a good point, and I want to know your take on it, because I would like to see him back. Do you see Randy Gregory being allowed to come back to the NFL and to the Dallas Cowboys?
There's a twofold situation with Randy Gregory. Here's the thing. There's a new CBA agreement out there that everybody signed, and it's all through its process. But the new CBA agreement do not remove the old CBA punishment, if that makes any sense. So Roger Goodell still holds everything in front of the Dallas Cowboys, or holding our feet to the fire, basically. So my thing is, it's one of those situations that we would just have to sit back and wait for Roger Goodell to make his ruling. I'm thankful for Randy Gregory for submitting his application this time, but I'm also holding my reservations on when he will actually start due to Roger Goodell. If this was Paul Tagliabue, we already know. We already know he'd be playing day one, week one. Yep. Matter of fact, he would never been suspended. They would have figured out a way to keep the brother out there on the field. But this is Roger Goodell we talking about.
Do you think that passing the new CBA with the players now not being punished for smoking weed?
Oh, hold that thought for a quick second. I got Marvin with the donation.
Oh, yeah.
Growing the nation, bro.
Yes, indeed, man. Thank you so much for your love and adulation for the nation. Marvin Hargrove, man. Really thank you so much, man. That $10, as my brother Big Game James would say, holla. Really appreciate you, man. Yeah. All right, so you were saying what you were saying again? Because I was distracted a little bit.
Pass, and now the players, the weed is not becoming as big as an issue as it was. Do you think that that's going to change anything with productivity, or some of these players, the way they go out there and do what they're supposed to do on the field, being allowed to smoke?
My thing is, allowance does not make you stupid, right? I look at it like this. Alcohol always been legal for you to consume, right?
Yeah.
And just because you drink alcohol does not mean that you're going to go out there for your tour days, or for your practices for Oxnard, or for your practices out there back at the Star, or for week 1 or week 2 of the preseason game, drunk full of Hennessy. So that could be the same, I guess, analogy you can use for weed smokers. They know for sure this is still a professional sport. You still got to beat the man that's in front of you. So what I'm trying to say to everybody is that I love the fact that they looked at this thing and said to themselves, okay, football is all about competition. So if a guy want to blaze and think that he's going to blaze I guess, a minute before practice start, and thinking that he's going to have a higher chance of making the team opposed to a guy that didn't blaze. Come on, man. I got land on the moon for sale. So I'm glad that the NFL looked at this collectively, saw where the states were heading to, saw where the economy and the world is heading to. Shout out to all of those who bought dispensaries and things like that. But they should look at this thing like this. Let these boys play, and then that's what's happening. Just like they do not get drunk before they practice, they will not get high before they practice. And that's how I'm going to leave it. OMG, Mr. Right. I'm going to let this AI, whenever she come in, there she go. Go ahead and speak the lovely words. Go ahead and speak for me.
Law Nation, I want Jordan Lewis out on that island. Cheeto in the nickel, he can blow some things up. Draft a corner in the third. Wonder what type corners the new staff is looking at versus old staff with height problems.
Great conversation for the nation, Mr. Wright, for the $20 or $19.99. What's on your mind, holla, baby? All right, so with that being said, he was talking about the Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis on that island, and also Cheeto and the nickel. Can he blow some things up? I think he can. I really do think that Cheeto Awuzie can blow some things up inside, but I think that he's been playing so far on the side as it relates to being the boundary corner on his side. I think that they would not change up things. I think that they would not hold this team to constraints as it relates to height, and they're going to put the best players out there that can make plays. Here's the craziest thing, Sid.
All right.
Here's the craziest thing of it all. When you look up Cheeto Awuzie's tape, you rarely see him getting burned. Most of the time, those plays that he lose battles on is like this.
Yeah, he did.
He'd be right there. Turn your head around. Bat the ball down. Be more physical up front. That's what I want Cheeto Awuzie to be. Just more physical. Redirect. Play with that type of tenacity. Play with that type of mental mindset. And when he can do that, baby, if they can just instill and install that like an up drive, like when you're trying to do something like a hard drive and you're putting that inside Cheeto Awuzie, and I'm not trying to say that he's the best thing since sliced bread, but if he can learn to do that in this particular year, man, Cheeto Awuzie, sure, he might just be onto something. And coach is coach.
I totally agree with you. I think that he needs to work on a lot of times that he was penalized. All he had to do was look back for the ball.
It was right there.
He was right there. Just look back for the ball. Like you said, bat the ball down, be more productive. And like you said, he just needs a lot of fine tuning as well. And he's one of those guys that I think will go out there and be productive on the field.
Yes, indeed.
100%.
Yes, indeed. Let me see. Okay, so how do you feel? We're gonna I got to bounce in a few, but before I roll with everything, how do you feel about the Dallas Cowboys, Vegas? The Dallas Cowboys that's in Vegas. You hear about that? You heard about that? All of the Cowboys going over there to Vegas.
Listen, and I'm saying this because I think that this whole, and I'm going to bring it up, this whole coronavirus is definitely. I don't know how it is in the States, and I've reading about it, and I know you guys are shutting down like we are here in Canada.
Right.
Everything here in Canada is shut down. All businesses are shut down. The only thing that's open is restaurants for drive-through and certain things. I'm not letting it control my life, and I think that the Dallas Cowboys have the right mentality. Also, listen, we can't let this epidemic, as what's going on, stop us from living.
Right.
And a lot of people are taking it to the extreme. And with that being said, I want to send out my prayers to everyone out there who does have the COVID-19 virus. And guys, I've learned something in the last couple of weeks. Cherish those that you love, because when something like this happens, you never know if you're going to end up alone. So cherish those that you're with. Quarantine yourselves, take the right steps, but be safe. The biggest thing is be safe with the ones that you love and respect the ones that you love.
Yes, indeed, man. That's some good words right there for the nation, for people to understand and hear that. this COVID-19 is crazy how this world has reacted to it, and but right now the isolation for the nation is a good move. It is, and shout out to those who are understanding of it, and also for those who are battling through it, or if you think you got it, quarantine yourself. Self-quarantine yourself. Do not spread it. Wash those hands, right? And keep in mind that everything happened for a reason. But there's hope. And I always say when there's hope in the future, there's power in the presence, not just of the mind, right? So I want people to understand that portion of it. And just keep ourselves safe, and let's try to understand that football is not bigger than life, right? Life is bigger than football. So let people know, Sid, where they can find your wonderful content and beyond.
Once again, guys, big shout out to Law for having me on his channel today as a guest. Right. I will be hosting him on my channel hopefully soon. My channel is Dallas Cowboys #4 Life. Subscribe, guys. Like I said, big things to come in 2020 with my channel and with guys like Law Nation and Dallas Cowboys family, and all those guys who have inspired me to do what I'm doing right here from Montreal, Canada, representing for the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, indeed. Inspiration for the nation. And that's why I always say that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. Time is the only thing that we all share. We share that time, and that's why it's so important, man. All of these people that's watching me and listening to us right now, we sharing this time, and you guys could be doing millions of other things right now. So I really appreciate you all. I really appreciate you for also tuning in to this thing, man. And let's continue to grow. Y'all check out his Facebook and YouTube page, and as well as his Twitter handle. And the link should be in the description box once this video has been posted. And let's go, Cowboy Nation. I feel that Super Bowl, man. I just say it every year, right?
Yeah.
Come on, let's go get it, baby.
Too.
Yes, indeed, man. And shout out to the Vegas Cowboys. I was going to talk about that, but time is our enemy right now. Let's go. Yeah. And remember, you're listening to absolutely nothing but the best. That's right. We out, baby. We gotta get this out right here. Let me see some fire emojis. There we go. Yeah.